Good answers. Actually, all good answers. It's getting tougher and tougher to stump you guys. Really getting tougher. And those of you sitting at home, you're also probably saying, yeah, that's it, both. It's both. And now the Adamus answer? It is both. It is both. However, an interesting phenomena, which some of you hit on, and then doubted yourself because I implanted the doubt, is enlightenment was happening first. The enlightenment came first. The whole path to enlightenment and ultimately the acceptance came first. It's interesting. It's an evolutionary pattern. After a lot of lifetimes on the planet, after a lot of experiences, and finally getting to the end of the experience chain, basically saying, okay, how much more am I going to experience on the planet? What more do I, soul, really choose to do? At some point, that enlightenment process started by an evolutionary consciousness/energy dynamic. It started. Then at an interesting point, you chose it. The human chose it. The human already knew a lot of things were happening in your life. A lot of things were changing. You felt different than other people. You were going through a lot of internal turmoil. And at some point, whether it was prompted by a book or a guru or anything else, the human chose it. The choosing of enlightenment was simply validation of something that was already going on. The choosing that you did as humans, saying, whether it's choosing enlightenment, choosing awakening, saying, I choose this as my direction, as my fulfillment. It was almost, you could almost hear the soul laughing, a sweet laughter, saying, it was already happening. You're just finally acknowledging it and validating it. You, as a human now, are no longer resisting and struggling. You're finally accepting something that was happening anyway. It's an interesting question and a bit of a chicken and egg question, but I wanted all of you to be aware that this whole journey to enlightenment, or actually the whole process of embodied enlightenment, was happening. And it's been happening for a long time. Maybe not consciously, maybe the human wasn't aware of it, but it was the evolution of the soul that's going to happen anyway. And when you stopped at one point and said, enlightenment, this is what I choose in my life now, it was like bringing together these energies, bringing that validation of what was already happening, bringing an ease in that no longer created this separation from the human life and the soul, but actually brought these together into unity. So when you consciously chose it, when you knew you were awakening, when you knew that this was the path of this lifetime, it was like a sweet laughter from your spirit saying, it's happening anyway. Now, dear human, would you just accept? You're not driving the enlightenment. You're not responsible for your enlightenment, as I've said many times before. It's not based on what goes on up here, how you think your way through, how you try to force your way through. It is truly a matter of acceptance. Acceptance truly of your I am, of your soul self. It's already going on. And the question today for everyone as a way of validation is, can you just accept it? It's not being governed from any angelic counsel. Spirit isn't doing it. There's no spirit guides, archangels, any of that. You know that. It's coming from the I am, and it's you can't think of it as a choice of the I am. It's the evolution of the soul, and it's going to happen one way or the other, sooner or later to everybody. But you've all been here on this planet more so than others. You had more lifetime. You were some of the original beings here on this planet. You've been there. You've done that. You've done just about everything. And in the evolution of the soul, it says, it's time for integration now. It's time to bring this all together in one great big crescendo, just like at the end of the music. Just like all the music, the lights, the energies coming together and integrating. So would you please just allow yourself to accept it? Stop thinking that you have to be the ones to plan it and plot it. You don't. You don't. So let's take a good deep breath with that.